Welcome to the Betting Above the Rim podcast. Today's date, May 19th, episode 150 of the Betting Above the Rim podcast. And let's get started with our tip-off topics what a night in Gotham. What a night indeed as the New York Knicks eliminate the defending champion Boston Celtics with a 38-point beatdown, 119-81 in the world's most famous arena. It's a Boston Celtics team that showed when they shot under 31% from the three-point line, they went 0-4 in this series. Guess what they shot from three? 30% in game number 6. Knicks were absolutely fantastic, getting contributions up and down the board. And I think that was probably the most important thing of this game is the fact that New York played their best basketball of the playoffs, and not even close. The lead was 9, I do believe, after the first quarter, or 6 after the first quarter. They went on a huge run, leading 64-37 at the break, and then really put it away with a 28-23 quarter, in which at that point, the Knicks were up by 35. So no chance of a comeback for the Boston Celtics. And for the New York Knicks, a team that, with me being almost 49 years old, I have seen a lot of dark times as a Knicks fan, a lot of suffering as a Knicks fan. I mean, do you want me to start? Where do you want me to start? The Ewing finger roll layup in 95, the fight versus the Miami Heat, I do believe that was in 98 when they got knocked out. Losing Ewing and then not winning the championship in 99. And then Ewing asking to be traded, and then all hell breaks loose. The Glenn Rices, the Travis Knights, the Isaiah Thomases as the head coach, the Larry Brown year with Stephon Marbury, the Mike D'Antoni era that we thought was going to be good. We had Linsanity, it was great. Then they got rid of him. Then Woody came along. They had the 55-win team, and then guess who knocked him out? The Indiana Pacers. And then a lot of suffering. But the credit has to go to Leon Rose, Worldwide West, and Tom Thibodeau. It was a build. It was a build that's happened, and it started with, obviously, people can think it's Brunson. It really started with Julius Randle being the first piece that came. Obviously, that led to the trade of Cat. But then you get Jalen Brunson. And this day and age of get mine, I want to get the bag. This kid sacrificed last year $100 million for the Knicks. Coincided with Mikal Bridges, his buddy from Villanova, coming onto the Knicks roster. But what it did when they got Bridges, even though people are talking about 5 first-round picks. By the way, people that want to complain about giving up 4 first-round picks, go look how the Knicks have drafted over the last 25 years and tell me how many picks they nailed on. Oh, remember Kevin Knox over Mikal Bridges? Oh, remember Frank Ntilikina over Spider Mitchell? Do you remember Kevin Knox over SGA? Oh, I can keep going with the way the Knicks have drafted over the years. So I was perfectly fine with getting Mikal Bridges. But to me, the luxury that he's given them is Brunson, by taking out money, gave them the window. So now you look at this team with Jalen Brunson, right? With Mikal Bridges. What can you say about the 3-and-D play of OG Anunoby, who's going to play a critical role in the next series? What about All Hart, Josh Hart? What a trade. I mean, people were complaining and bitching about, we traded Cam Reddish in a first-round pick for this guy? Oh, that guy's been a critical part. But one of the guys he did draft is Mitchell Robinson and Deuce McBride. So shout out to the New York Knicks and my hometown team for making it to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in a quarter century. But they knocked off Boston, a Boston team that obviously lost Jason Tatum to that horrific Achilles tear in Game 4. But word came out after the series, I don't know, like 36 hours later, that Jaylen Brown was playing through a partially torn meniscus. Okay, I want to get this off my chest. This is no disrespect to JB. I love Jaylen Brown. And I love particularly his performance in Game 5. But stop this madness of these guys playing through injuries and you post it after they got knocked out. This is the same crap that the Lakers did when LeBron and Luka, everybody's hurt this time of year. So stop giving me this junk after the fact. Either tell me they're hurt during the playoff series or don't tell me at all. It looks like a cop-out by the Boston organization. Speaking of Boston, it's going to be an interesting offseason for them. As you look at it, after going 61-21, they lose Tatum obviously for all next year. Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Drew Holiday, Peyton Pritchard, Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford, Sam Hauser, Luke Cornett. Matt, keep that up. It's not all going to be there, folks. Ready? Al Horford and Luke Cornett are free agents. Do they look for bigger roles? Kristaps Porzingis, who did not look good in the series and fighting some kind of illness, Kristaps is in his walk year after next year, so he becomes trade bait. Drew Holiday, there's always been rumors that he wasn't going to play much longer. Jaylen Brown, they've been trying to trade Jaylen Brown for 5 damn years. But with the fact that if they kept everybody, the new owners could have a bill of about $500 million. Boston's going to make changes, and they're going to make significant changes. Look for me, either one of the Holiday White to be gone, look for maybe Porzingis to be gone, and then maybe Al Horford or Luke Cornett. There's going to be a lot of changes coming up with the Boston Celtics. Let's head to the Western Conference as the Oklahoma City Thunder knocked out, beat down, punished, robbed, whatever you want to call it, the Denver Nuggets in a 125-93 game. And folks, the game was close until that 15-2 run in quarter 2, highlighted by Jalen Williams, woke the hell up. 11 points in that span. It was a knockout punch that gave them the 60-46 lead at the break. And at that point, there was nothing that Denver could have done. Congrats to Mark Daigneault, Sam Presti, and the Oklahoma City Thunder organization. The slow build is getting closer as they move on to the Western Conference Finals. But if I'm going to knock, and I'm not knocking Jaylen Brown, remember that, how the report came out, I got to give my roses to Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon played on a grade 2 hamstring strain. Folks, I have pulled my hamstring. It is utter hell. You can't move at all. And the fact that this guy went out there with a grade 2 hamstring and still gave you 8 points, 11 rebounds, shout out to Aaron Gordon for gutting it out for the Denver Nuggets, a guy that had a fantastic series. But it sets up an interesting time for Denver. Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., Christian Brown, Russell Westbrook, Peyton Watson, Julian Strawther. There's going to be changes here, okay? The name to look at right off the bat is Michael Porter Jr. Do they look to move Michael Porter Jr., who does make a lot of money, but in big spots sometimes hasn't delivered? Christian Brown has paid himself to a massive extension. I think Bobby Marks, I saw earlier today, report that if Jalen Suggs got 4 or 5 for $150, that Christian Brown could be looking at $30+ million. People are going to knock this guy, but he had an absolutely phenomenal postseason. Actually went 19 points, 4 rebounds, and was 11 points in the first quarter as they were in the game. The guy to look at to be gone, maybe Russell Westbrook leaves, Julian Strawther, Peyton Watson get more playing time. Coming up next after the commercial break, we'll get into our award tour where we'll break down the Eastern Conference Finals matchup between the Knicks and the Pacers, see if we can find some money, and then we'll head over to the Western Conference as the Oklahoma City Thunder play the Minnesota Timberwolves. We'll be back with our award tour after this commercial break. Welcome back to the Betting Above the Rim podcast, episode 150, and it's time to get into our award tour as we break down future markets in the NBA. And with the Final Four set, the Eastern and Western Conference Finals starting Tuesday night, it's best that we talk about the odds in each. And what we'll do, folks, is we're going to go in chronological order by when they start. So starting off Tuesday night is the Western Conference Finals. So lines are out and up at FanDuel, and we have obviously the Oklahoma City Thunder as an overwhelming favorite, the Thunder, to win this round at a minus 375 price, plus 300 for the Minnesota Timberwolves. The series spread, it depends what you're looking at. Minus 1.5 games is minus 162, plus minus one. These are all for Oklahoma City. Minus 2.5, plus 138. Minus 3.5 is plus 490. Then you go the other way. Minus 1.5 for Minnesota is plus 490. Minus 2.5 is 14-1, and minus 3.5 is 30-1. So where do we start to look at? And we can get to the pluses and stuff like that. But let's go this way. Who do I like in this series? Folks, I like Oklahoma City. I just think the size that they have with Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren, I think people don't realize a big reason why Minnesota is able to win that series is because of their defense and their bigs, particularly McDaniels, Randall, Reed, and Rudy Gobert. I think Oklahoma City can match that size, right? I think that Oklahoma City can match their defensive intensity, particularly the way that Alex Caruso played, last series. Lou Dort, SGA, 3 high-level wing defenders. But it's the depth of Oklahoma City that's going to really impose their will. So I'm not going to lay minus 375. I mean, unless you start parlaying it with other major minus money odds. So where do you go? To me, folks, it's going to be over in under 5 games. So there's a couple of ways you can do it. Just take Oklahoma City minus 2.5 at plus 1. I think I saw it at plus 138. Or if you want to go under 5.5 games in the series, you are looking at a plus 114. So, and here's the thing, right? You could get it at plus 138. You could get it for 20 cents cheaper and just get the number of games right in case Minnesota does shock the world. I don't see it happening, but did we see? I mean, we did see Cleveland got knocked out last round, right? We did see the Knicks knock out the Celtics. So anything is possible. So one of 2 ways. Either minus 2.5 games for Oklahoma City at plus 138 or under 5.5 games at about a plus 114. Really quick to the prop market here and try to see what you can find. I do think Anthony Edwards is going to lead this series in scoring. Because if they're going to be competitive, let's be honest, folks, he has to do so. So Anthony Edwards over SGA. Anthony Edwards is a plus 170 for most total points. Remember, it's not points per game. It's total points. So injuries take into account here. Anthony Edwards plus 170 to have the most points in the series. When you go to the rebounding market, Rudy Gobert minus 150, plus 250 for Chet, 4-1 for Isaiah Hartenstein, and Julius Randle 30-1. I think Hartenstein's going to play a critical role in this series. Critical. It's going to play big minutes. It's got to keep Rudy off the boards. Does Rudy lose minutes to Naz Reid? Right? Chet should be able to try and neutralize Randle on the boards. A little bit of plus money here. Isaiah Hartenstein to lead the series in total rebounds at 4-1. Let's head to the Eastern Conference now, where the Knicks are a minus 146. I'm seeing now 156 favorite to win the series versus Indiana Pacers. Indiana Pacers is coming in anywhere between plus 124 and plus 130. Over-under games is at 5.5 at minus 188. Way juiced to the over. Under is at plus 152. Series spread, if you want to look at this way, the Knicks at minus 1.5 games is about a plus 146. 2.5 plus 270. You can look at it the other way as well. So what do I see with the series? It's probably going 7. I think these teams are really close. They're razor close. They're razor close. So to me, I think the Knicks win it in 7. So I'm just going to take the Knicks, minus 154 to win it in 7 games. If you want to just go prediction of exactly total of 7 games, you're looking at plus 186, shortest odds by about 40 cents. So that tells you that the book is thinking that this is going to be most likely a 7-game series. When you get to the series props, some really interesting props out there in the market. One of them I want you to look at, Mitchell Robinson to get a double-double in any game of the series, plus 140. I think he's going to play a critical role in this series if we were to try and get some kind of win here. Series props I want you to look at is the leading scorer is Jalen Brunson minus 430. Folks, I completely disagree. Karl Anthony Towns at 6-1. Cat averaged 30.3 points per game this season versus Indiana. Miles Turner is going to give him the 3, and he does not want the smoke inside. Big Cat, big bodega, big whatever. I'm going to call him Big Series. Karl Anthony Towns at 6-1 to lead the series in total points. But yeah, that means he's going to leave it in rebounding, right? Wrong. He's minus 650. Go down to the next person. Josh Hart, 5-1. Hear me out. The thought process I had was last series was Porzingis going to bring him to the outside. Porzingis didn't play much in this series. Miles Turner will. Brings Cat to the outside. That brings both of them with there. Hart flies in, rebounds. Hart, 5-1 to lead the series in total rebounds. Coming up next, we'll get into our scouting report as we break down game 1s of both the Western and Eastern Conference Finals. And then we break down 2 games in the WNBA tipping off on Tuesday and a little buzzer beater about this Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese BS that went on. We'll be back with our scouting report and a buzzer beater after this commercial break. Welcome back to the Betting Above the Rim podcast, episode 150. But before we get into our scouting report, I just want to stop for a minute. This is episode 150. And there are a lot of people that I could thank from obviously from Mike Cardano to Rebecca Harrelson. This is kind of her baby. Obviously, Greg Sussin, what he's done. But I really got to thank my producer, Matty George. I don't think people understand the amount of work it comes in to do this podcast, how crazy it is to deal with me on an everyday basis. Sometimes I'm texting him stuff 2 hours, 1 hour before the show is being taped. Sometimes I'm texting him in the middle of the night because I had an idea at 3 a.m. It's a lot to deal with me, so I just wanted to make sure that as we hit this major milestone, that I thank my producer, Matty George, for doing a fantastic job on all 150 episodes of the Betting Above the Rim podcast and for the podcasts to come. Let's get to our scouting report as we break down games 1 of the Western and Eastern Conference Finals. Let's start chronologically with the Thunder being a 7.5-point favorite over under of 214.5. See, there's a couple of ways you can look at this, right? Is Oklahoma City going to be revved up based off their Game 7 win and getting over the hump to the Western Conference Finals? Or are they going to be a little bit tired after a really long series? Either way, I think the best way to look at this is take it under 214.5. I think these are 2 excellent defenses. I don't think either team's going to be able to get in transition as much as we think because of the fact that both teams can offensively rebound the ball really well, so no one can really leak out. So I do like it to go under 214.5. As for the line, I'm not touching it at 7.5. I'm going to play it live. I got to wait and see, particularly how Oklahoma City comes out. but also how they match everyone up in this series. So I'm going to go under 214.5, and then I'll decide closer to game time, or actually during the game, what I'm going to do with that line as it starts out at 7.5. Heading to the Eastern Conference, Knicks -4, over under 223 over Indiana. I'm more comfortable with this game going over. I think Indiana is going to, no pun intended, push the pace. They're going to try and get this game up and down. I think New York will be able to do so in game one, maybe get out of themselves a little bit. I don't think it's something that they're going to want to do like the whole series, but game one, I can see Indiana trying to push the limits here a little bit. So I do like over 223. Let's head to the WNBA. 2 games on Tuesday night, leading off with the Las Vegas Aces and Asia Wilson, coming off a fantastic performance against the New York Liberty, -12-point favorites versus the Grizzly veteran who returns back home to where she played college basketball, and that's Tina Charles and the Connecticut Sun. I'm laying the 12 points. You're saying to me, what? You're laying 12? Connecticut's not good. Connecticut's not good. Now, they lost to a Washington Mystics team that I think is better than what we thought, but I do like Las Vegas minus the 12 points because of the fact that they have 1 day extra rest, and I think Becky Hammond's crew is going to be in a bad mood. Next matchup, Atlanta, Indiana. This is -9 right now for the Indiana Fever. I will be taking Indiana minus the 9 points. I look at the play of Caitlin Clark, and then I actually saw, on FanDuel, folks, you can have these things called player performance doubles, where 2 things can happen for you need to win. I am looking at Caitlin Clark double Indiana to win at -106. Now I just take the line is to win outright. If you look at Caitlin Clark's double market right now, she is right now at a -190. So take those 2 together. Caitlin Clark double, Indiana Fever to win at -106. Let's get to a bunch of beater dealing with Caitlin Clark and that altercation that took place in the third quarter of the game with the Chicago Sky. I'm going to say this. This is exactly what the WNBA wanted, and it's exactly what they needed. What do you mean? They wanted everybody talking. I'm not saying this is the WWE. I'm not saying this thing is scripted, but damn it, they put those 2 teams on the first weekend of the basketball season for a reason, because they were expecting some kind of fireworks. They got it. Did Angel Reese overreact? Probably. Did Caitlin Clark have to stare it down? Probably not. There's enough blame to go both sides. But guess who doesn't care? That's the WNBA, because it's Monday night and we're still talking about it. This has been your Betting Above the Rim podcast for May 19th, episode 150. For all things sports gambling, download that Sports Grid app. Pre-game, in-game, post-game, props, predictions, and more from the very best in the sports gambling industry. For my amazing producer, Matty George, Vinny, who does a great job with the graphics, thanks for always listening, folks. And please remember, it's smarter to be on Sports Grid. Good night.